Probably one of the worst things someone can say to you when you have ME is, ME, oh yeah, I know what that is. That means that you're tired. To me, that's a bit like when Forrest Gump, when he gets shot in the backside, says something bit him. According to the NHS, National Health Service, there are various symptoms to ME. If you go on the NHS site, it'll explain it all to you. But I'll just go through what it basically says. So the NHS site states that there are 4 symptoms to ME. First of all is fatigue, which is classified as extreme tiredness all the time. Second of them is sleep problems. Now that's classed as insomnia, sleeping too much, feeling like you've not had any sleep at all, and feeling exhausted or stiff on waking. Further symptoms is problems with thinking. So that's concentration and memory, classed as brain fog. And fourth is the last one, which is post-exertion malaise. So basically, you can do a lot of activities and you'll basically feel bad afterwards. Now, it doesn't have to be straight afterwards. It can be an hour, 2 hours, the next day, the next week, before the symptoms really do kick in. Some people have pain in different parts of their body. They have flu-like symptoms, such as a high temperature, headache, aching joints or muscles. If you look on various other sites, they also agree with some of the other various symptoms that come with the condition. That can be a sore throat, sore glands that are not swollen. Also, the other side of it where you have swollen glands, but then they're not sore. Heart palpitations that are basically fast or irregular heartbeats, muscle twitches or spasms, intolerance to alcohol in certain foods, it's a bit of a downer, sensitivity to light, sound, touch and smell, hot flushes, cold chills, fainting when standing up from sitting or from lying down, which is also known as orthostatic intolerance, abdominal issues such as stomach pain, bloating, and IBS, which is irritable bowel syndrome, and also sinus problems. So if all the different sites that they've got basically around the world, I think they've got them on Mayo Clinic as well, like I say again on the National Health Service site, but then if you go on other sites that are specific to ME, such as the meassociation.org.uk, which is quite a good one for you to go on. They give a list of all the different symptoms that you can get with ME. So when someone sits there and says, oh yeah, ME just means you're tired, and no, it doesn't. Another thing that people get confused as well is the chronic fatigue syndrome side, name of it. There's 2 different ones. You have chronic fatigue, which is, to me, it's essentially is where you burn yourself out. When you research that, it basically says that it doesn't last longer than 6 months. And the way to overcome that is basically look after yourself, get plenty of rest, and you basically get over the problem. Chronic fatigue syndrome, that lasts for longer than 6 months, and there's basically no cure for it. It doesn't matter how much you rest, you just don't get rid of it. So yeah, just for future reference, please don't turn around and just say, oh, it means that you're tired. It's not. Coming from someone who does have ME, the symptoms that I listed before, yeah, definitely, I do get heart palpitations. One of the other things is breathlessness. Walking upstairs, that feels like I've done a 6-mile run. About 2-3 years ago, I could still run 6 miles. I trained myself up to be able to do it because I was running for cancer. To raise money for cancer charity, and I was able to do it. But that's when I started to realise that I was starting to get really tired, probably the next day, and 2-3 days after that. And that's when I started to go downhill. The other thing is, yeah, I get sensitive to loud noise, lights, smells, touch. Sometimes the slightest touch can feel like it's a bit painful. The IBS side of it, yeah, you do get IBS. Pain side of it, yeah, joints, pain in the joints, stiff joints as well. And like they say, it's they're not hot to the touch like you'd get with rheumatoid arthritis. They're not swollen like you get rheumatoid arthritis or lupus. but they're just stiff and painful. And I do remember one time when my knee became quite stiff, and it was slightly swollen at the back, and it was really stiff. It actually felt like it was almost gonna, my leg was trying to snap when I was getting up off the floor. But when I had an MRI done, it was clear. Go figure. Feeling dizzy or sick, yeah. Sometimes you'll just randomly feel like you're dizzy. Sometimes it'll feel like the world spins. Sometimes it feels like your head spins around. It's very, very strange. And you do feel sick as well. Muscle twitches and spasms, yep. When I first started getting the symptoms for it, my arm would twitch, my leg would sometimes kick out. When I was sat down, my foot would twitch upwards. And that was one of the reasons I originally thought, well, I was worried that it could be MS. But obviously it wasn't MS. I had an MRI done, and that was cleared, and there was no signs of MS with that. But this is the problem that we have with ME and chronic fatigue syndrome. It mirrors so many other diseases that are out there, which is why it can take quite a while for you to be diagnosed, because you have to go through quite a long process to discount everything, basically. One of the other things as well, it'd be interesting to know if anybody else gets this. I've always had problems with my liver since I was younger, something called Gilbert syndrome. There's more people that are coming forward to say that they have Gilbert syndrome and ME. Now, whether those two are related, that's a bit up for debate. I'm not going to say that it is. I'm not going to say that it's not. But it would be interesting to know if anybody else does have liver symptoms when it comes to ME. One of the other things that I was going through recently whilst we were going through the diagnosis process of it was a lot of blood tests for the liver. And I was showing signs of raised ALT, which is signs of liver damage. Now, I'm not a heavy drinker, not like I was when I was younger. But yeah, since I've developed ME, I actually drink a lot less than what I used to do. But my liver just still shows signs of damage. But however, after having an ultrasound and a fibro scan, I can't even say that I'm on the level for non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. However, there are some suggestions that ME does also have people who have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease as well. Now, again, whether that's part of it or whether it's just coincidence, who knows? But again, it would be interesting to know from yourselves. But a couple of other things I'll go through on some of the other videos. Okay, thanks for now. Bye-bye.